Hey, what's going on? It's Stokely from Sauce on Delay. Oh man, the other day I haven't published in a while. The other day I published about wearing my head bald, which was maybe about a day ago or 2 days ago, and the amount of what I would interpret as improvements in my aesthetic from cutting my hair off. Now, when I have my waves go, excuse me. Thank you. When I have my waves going, I'm pretty satisfied with my aesthetic. My employer maybe doesn't find it so professional looking. And it doesn't really give me a particularly youthful look, I guess. But when I'm just letting my hair grow out, untrained, naturally, really. Oh, there's so much traffic. It conveys, it really shows my age, you know what I mean? So, the whole aesthetic industry is about making yourself more marketable, making yourself feel more marketable, making yourself feel more whatever, attractive, so on and so on and so forth. And like I said in the last episode, your appearance matters. Your appearance matters. It even matters in a financial capacity. Now, sometimes we take on these journeys of aesthetic upgrades because of feelings of inadequacy. Primarily, probably because of feelings of inadequacy. You know what I mean? Well, maybe not primarily. Sometimes you have a goal and you say, I want to accomplish something, and I know I need to present myself a certain way. Whatever. So maybe it's not inadequate, but just lacking. I mean, I don't know, you know what I mean? Maybe you have a goal and you're trying to achieve something, whatever the case may be. Whether it's to get a job, let's say you're in the, aesthetic industry, let's say you're in modeling or something like that. Let's say you are an outside salesperson. You have to present yourself a certain way. Let's say you're looking for a mate. You got to present yourself some kind of way. But anyhow, the other day I was looking up body dysmorphia. Now, body dysmorphia, we've been hearing a lot about that when people, in the capacity of people changing their gender, but it's not something that is relegated solely to that, now popular discussion. It's people, according to Google. Let me see if I found it. Let's see what I found a Google result, what it said. Hopefully I can open it while I'm doing this. So much traffic, so it kind of works out. So when you search for Google, Google creates a tab of what you search for. Okay. I was looking at body dysmorphia. Okay. Body dysmorphia disorder, BDD. I didn't even know there was an acronym for it, but hey, here we go. Body dysmorphic disorder, or body dysmorphia, is a mental health condition where a person spends a lot of time worrying about flaws in their appearance. These flaws are often unnoticeable to others. People of any age can have BDD, but it's most common in teenagers and young girls. Now, saying that it's most popular in teenagers and young girls would totally explain why social media is so dangerous to young women. It explains why, I see so many workout videos with young guys, you know what I mean? Now, I don't think, but they say it can happen at any age. I'm a gentleman of a certain age. So I'm about to, getting closer to 50 years old. So I'm not saying that I have body dysmorphic disorder. I'm not going bugged out about it. But I remember in my younger years when I was probably about 6 years old, and I've spoken about this before, the girl I had a crush on in first grade said my head was as long as a jackfruit. And, that is something that troubled me for, I don't know, many years. Even into my 20s, there's one night that I had a nightmare that my head was as long as a xenomorph from the movie Alien. So, it's something that was wearing on my mind. And then probably, up until the time that my son was born, when my son was born, or no, maybe before that, maybe like a good few years before that. So maybe about 10 years ago, I stopped worrying about that. I stopped thinking about it. Probably around 2014. Yeah, probably about 11 years ago. That's when I started exercising a lot. And I used to look in the mirror a lot, but I usually just look at, my aesthetic from the front, look at, a little bit of my hair, a little bit, but never really get a profile of myself. So what sparked up my self-consciousness again about the shape of my head recently was, this weekend was Father's Day weekend. I had a great, wonderful Father's Day weekend. Thank God for that. Thank my family for that. And we were taking pictures, and I'm so self-centered, so whatever you want to call it, that I was looking at the pictures of myself, and I was like, wait a minute, my head is really long. You know what I mean? So I'm back to remembering when I had the nightmare about my head being like a xenomorph. And a xenomorph is from the movie Alien. Did I say that? Xenomorph is like the movie Alien. They have very long heads. So I was looking at a picture of myself, and then I made a YouTube short of me just circling some of the flaws that I saw about myself. And I was looking at my hook nose, I was looking at my long head, and I was looking at my receding hairline, and looking at my patchy sideburns, and looking at my skinny arms, and looking at my long neck, and I watch a show named Lanky Box with my son sometimes, and Lanky Box is about Adam and Justin, and they're like two friends who pretend like they're brothers, and they just do all kind of antics all day. So Justin is always saying that Adam's neck is very long. So Justin is always making fun of Adam. So and then my son had many years ago asked me what lanky means, and I didn't really know what it meant. I don't remember what definition I gave him, but I looked it up myself, and I looked it up in Google, and this is what the definition of lanky is. Let's try to find the definition of lanky here. Lanky definition. Okay, it says lanky, ungracefully thin and tall, and that basically sums up my appearance. I'm not like exceptionally tall. I'm just a little bit over 6 feet tall, just about 6 feet tall, and I got a long neck like Adam from Lanky Box, and I got a long head, and I'm thin. So I fall into the definition of the word lanky. If they had that in the dictionary, I'll be right next to it. Ungracefully thin and tall. So I was being very self-conscious this weekend, even though I had a great time. It's not something that I'm dwelling on. I've got bigger problems than that. Things that I can actually do something about. I can't change the length of my neck. I can't remove some of my vertebrae. remove what C1 and C2 and all these different things. You know what I mean? I can't have them cut my skull and then reform it and then sew it back together. I'll just have a bunch of scars in my head, and then what's gonna happen to all that brain fluid? And then I'll have little pieces of bone inside of my skull swimming around just to change my appearance, just to feel more confident about it, Or I could get rhinoplasty and have them chop up my nose and rebuild the cartilage and put some plastic in it and whatever. Am I gonna be happy with that? Am I gonna feel like I lost my identity? Am I gonna feel like I gave into trying to please other people or conform to other people's beauty standards or try to appear like somebody else? Am I honoring my parents by modifying what they made? Am I honoring God by voluntarily mutilating his creation? There's a lot of questions that come up, because there is, listen, the way how to, thank God for the medical industry that saves lives, but they have a cosmetics industry. They have a cosmetic medicine or, whatever the heck it's called, plastic surgery, that, if you got the money, they'll do anything that you want them to do. They'll do anything that you want them to do. Some of them wouldn't even give you a psychological evaluation, to find out whether you're in the right mind state to do these procedures. As we've seen so many videos online of people with significant cosmetic surgery that goes beyond, I don't know, I mean, they could do whatever you can do whatever you want with your life, but did the doctors really evaluate whether you were in the right mind state? Are you doing it out of what's your motivation? Is your motivation a sustainable one? Are you gonna feel different about it later? Do you know the risks that the scarring might end up not going the way that you want it to? And once I had an injury in my head, I think it's where I got hit by a rock. Once I had an injury in my head, and I have more than one injury in my head, but once I got injury in the head, and I had a keloid scar as a result of it. I can't. It's bringing up a lot of memories. So I had a keloid scar. So I probably have a risk of developing a keloid scar as a result of, who knows what, as a result of too much surgery or too much, cutting or whatever. Who knows, what causes the keloid scar to be triggered. But, yeah, so I take a risk also in that area, that the healing process will not be exactly favorable. So, anyhow, there's some things that I can do. There's things that sometimes you can do things without doing medical procedures to your body. You feel like you got a big nose, you can wear big glasses. Big glasses are in right now. You know what I mean? You feel like you got a long neck, I wear a necklace, and I feel like the necklace makes my neck not look so long. I feel like my arms are skinny, I can start working on my arms. Is that my car making that noise? Yeah, I can start exercising more, which I'm trying to do, but yeah, it's a slow process. It's gonna take me about a year or 2 or 3. My neck, hey, like I said, yeah, just wear a necklace. That's helped a lot. Being lanky and being ungracefully tall and skinny, well, I could correct my posture because I kind of slouch forward a little bit. I noticed that. I kind of slouch forward a little bit. And they have exercises to correct your posture where you put your hands behind your neck and you push back. So there's a potential for me to improve that without having to go through surgery. Exercise can help. But I think the number one thing that helps is accepting yourself and valuing yourself as a unique individual. You know, you're the only you that's been made. You know, why would you modify it and try to make it look like somebody else? Now, I'm not saying that's wrong. You can do whatever you want to do. If that makes you feel like, if that's a journey that you want to go on, if that's a mission that you want to go on, if that's an accomplishment that you want to achieve, hey, you know, you can do it. You can do it. I'm not taking away from it. I'm just thinking about my own self. And when I think about myself, you know, I think the most sustainable option for me is to just accept myself for who I am. Because, you know, you take a risk every time you go into surgery. You take a risk that you don't come back, you know, if you get intubated or sedated or even, what do they call it? Whatever, you know, even if they numb you or whatever the case may be, you know. You take a risk. So, you know, when you think about it, probably the safest and most sustainable way is to change your mindset. The most cost-effective way is to change your mindset. Because these cosmetic elective surgeries are probably not covered by your insurance. Unless you have a severe issue of body dysmorphic dysphoria, you know, body dysmorphic disorder. Like, it would have to be really significant, and then psychologists would have to say, well, you know, to help their mental health state, this work has to be done, and then maybe your insurance will approve it. But I think it's highly unlikely that insurance will approve me having my skull reconstructed, having one of my vertebrae removed to make my neck not so long. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. My look is my look, you know? But it explains a lot why. Well, it's not that I intentionally don't take pictures. That's not the case. I don't intentionally avoid taking pictures. It's just I don't take a lot of pictures. I don't really take a lot of pictures. And when I do see a picture of myself, I'm like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean? So, I don't want to. I've been outside of that mental space for a long time, and just seeing the pictures of myself yesterday and the day before that. No, on Saturday, day before yesterday. Just seeing the pictures of myself, I was like, seems like I still have some work to do regarding being satisfied with myself. I still have some work to do, even regarding my exercise, because I've been trying to exercise. I've been trying to get bigger arms, and I've been trying to put on some mass, but so far my weight is constant. But there's some benefits that extend past the aesthetic, even though I haven't achieved the aesthetic that I like. And who knows if I will ever achieve it. I mean, if I really have some kind of BDD, you know, disorder, no amount of increase in size is gonna ever satisfy me. I would just be, you know, trying and growing, and I'll still be not satisfied. And, you know, so there's a point where you gotta just say, hey, you know what, I achieved something. Let me just maintain. I'm good with this. Whew. You know, different things happen as you get older. You know, you're not as dexterous. You're not as you're trying to cause an accident, you're not as what do you call it? Flexible. You know, I've had experience with erectile dysfunction already. I had a pain in my neck the other day. I just woke up, still got the pain in my neck. I don't even think it's something. I don't think it's something musculoskeletal at all. I think it's really just like some inflammation from some food that I ate. But I'm still looking into that. I've had experience with joint pain, which I also think recently that joint pain is related to inflammation. I've had experience with sciatica. I'm having experience with blurry vision. Some of these things, you know, are supposedly due to age. I don't think that's totally correct. That doesn't mean that I'm going to give up, you know, but I have to also maintain a level of calm, because what is this guy doing? Road rage? Oh my gosh. Because let's say when I was experiencing erectile dysfunction, if I had, and me just even saying that, I just felt a big weight drop down like in my stomach, like a sadness, like, you know. But anyhow, it's not that big. But the it just shows you, it just makes you feel like, oh, well, you know, that part of my life is over, this part of my life is over. But it's just a phase, you know. A caterpillar might want to be a caterpillar for the rest of its life, but it's like, you know, you got to be a butterfly now. That's part of the process. And it's a fair process because everybody, for the most part, goes through it. Most people go through it. Most caterpillars turn into butterflies. Well, I don't know if most caterpillars turn into butterflies. Some of them don't make it. Some of them don't even get to make it to be a butterfly. Some of them die before they even get to be a butterfly. Somebody eats them, okay? So some of my contemporaries, some of the young guys that I knew, you know, at least 2 of them, 3 of them, you know, 4 of them, they didn't get to old age. They didn't even get to 40 years old. Some of them didn't get to 30 years old. Right? So some of those caterpillars that I grew up with didn't even get to become a butterfly. You know what I mean? Didn't get to become a spiritual being or whatever you want to call it. You know, well, not a spiritual being, but I'm gonna be weird. I'm gonna be weird, right? I'm gonna be weird right now. I'm gonna say that. You know, when you're young, you're more carnal, and then when you get older, you don't have the ability to be carnal anymore. You don't have the ability to be physical. You don't have the ability to be violent. You don't have the the ability to do a lot of vigorous kind of whatever. I'm using a lot of hyperbole. I'm stretching it. Okay, so don't hold me to it. So you lose the ability to be so, you know, whatever. But I mean, I just saw a guy who was 90 years old running a marathon. Okay, but yeah, I'm talking about for the most part. So as you get older now, you're supposed to hopefully start to think more. Hopefully your cognition is still there. You got to maintain your physicality to maintain your cognition. But the carnality from your young years, the physicality from your young years actually is the foundation for you in your older years, kind of. You know, I'm not going to get too weird in it, but all I'm saying is that whatever phase you're in, you don't want to be stressed out about it. The stress is not going to help you. I was just looking at another article talking about stress, and I'm talking too long now. I'm over 24 minutes. But I was just looking at an article about, let me see, why men with broken heart syndrome are more likely to die, according to experts. Now, broken heart syndrome apparently is a thing. It's called, where is it? Come on now. Give me the name of it. It starts with a T. Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. That's broken heart syndrome. Okay? So what it's saying, this broken heart syndrome is supposed to be like a rush of cortisol going into your heart and just like, messing your heart up, okay? I'm not going to go into too much details. I'm driving right now. I haven't done the research. I'm just freestyling. I'm in some traffic. So let's see here. Let's read the CNN article. The CNN article says, why men with broken heart syndrome are more likely to die. Why am I even talking about this? How is it related? All I'm saying is that as you go through these phases of life where you get disappointed because you're getting old or whatever, or you're looking at your pictures and your head is long and your neck is long and you're skinny and you're whatever, or you feel like you're fat or whatever the case may be, how you feel, you get disappointed, don't get all brokenhearted about it. Just accept it and do what you can do. It's okay. So it says, why men with broken heart syndrome are more likely to die. Now, I've never seen Father's Day so celebrated in the history of my life, whether as a father or pre-fatherhood. I've never seen Father's Day celebrated so much as I have this year. They've been talking so much about men's mental health and what can we do, man? And about men's health and so much stuff. And I'm kind of conflicted about it. So much attention being given to men's mental health and all that stuff. But I think it's going in the right direction. It's going in the right direction somewhat. It's a good discussion to have. So it says, why men are more with broken heart syndrome are more likely to die, according to experts. So it says, a 59-year-old man arrived at the Peking University First Hospital in Beijing for a procedure when he started having severe chest pain and shortness of breath. For months earlier, he had cancerous tumors removed from his bladder. Around his family, he tried his best to appear strong and avoided discussions of his health. Privately, his severe anxiety over the possibility of cancer recurrence kept him awake at night. You see, the stress is just messing him up. The stress isn't helping him. Doctor said the man was... Hold on. I'm trying to park. Somebody dropped some napkins right where I parked. Nasty. Doctor said the man was experiencing Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, also known as broken heart syndrome. Sounds like a Japanese name, right? Also known as broken heart syndrome. Documented in a 2021 case study, the rare stress-induced heart condition has been observed primarily in women, but a study published in the Journal of American Heart Association in May found that the illness may be more deadly for the men who get it. Thought to be caused by extreme emotional or physical events, such as learning about the death of a loved one, winning the lottery, or lifting a heavy sofa, Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, or TC, occurs when the heart muscle is flooded with stress hormones, causing part of it to freeze in place as the heart struggles to properly pump blood. Symptoms resemble those of a heart attack, including chest pain, heart palpitation, and irregular heartbeat. So, stress will kill you faster than a bullet. That's what people say. People say stress will kill you faster than a bullet. So, there you go. Because, look, sometimes you'll get shot by a gun. And, you get shot. Look, 50 Cent got shot 9 times. He didn't die. Where Jamaica's hospital is one of the best triage. That's probably where he was taken. So he got good care. But, yeah, the stress right there, it'll kill you. So when you face these things, whether it's erectile dysfunction, whether it's body dysmorphic disorder, whether it's winning the lottery like this article says, or, you break up with somebody or whatever the case may be, you got to take it easy. Like my little brother says, take a hard life easy. Take it easy. Don't take yourself that serious. You're going to hurt yourself. So, we have to find outlets about all of that. So my own struggle with body dysmorphia is not really, it's not severe. It's not even anything on the radar. It's just a regular self-criticism, being self-centered and being vain, you know. But like King Solomon said, all is vanity. So you just gotta let it go, you know. It's not really nothing to hurt yourself about, you know. And religion helps you with these things sometimes. But hey, that's all I gotta say right now. Thanks for listening.